This is the Shiftheads podcast with Shane Hewitt and friends.
Welcome to the Shiftheads podcast. I'm Shane Hewitt. Handy Andy Baryer is back again, most recently chatting about his auntie's place. And should he sell it? Should he not sell it? Did you make a decision on that, by the way?
I did. I thought, you know what? It doesn't hurt to put it up on the market, see what kind of interest you get. Now, because I'm gonna like DIY this whole sale of this apartment chain, I can't list it on the MLS, as you know. You need a realtor to like get it on there. But there are other free avenues to get eyeballs. And of course, that's Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and Kijiji. So I got some photos. I made a little video. I wrote up a little blurb using the help of AI as well. I wanted to see if AI could, make a nice little blurb about an apartment. Edited that, posted it, and within 24 hours, Shane, I got a contact by a realtor who wanted to talk to me. And then he said he had a client that was an investor looking for investment properties, and he's wondering if he can come see it. I showed it to him. This place is really nice looking. I should actually send you photos so people can see the reno that I did over there, Shane. But I knew it's got a great view. He liked it right away. He was like, this was on Friday. He's like, I can get you an offer by Monday. Wow. I said, sure enough. I go, but I just want to let you know, my price is pretty firm. Like, I got a price to sell. It's firm. There's like not much negotiation here. Anyways, I told him that. Monday comes along, Shane, yesterday. He came over, showed me the offer. It was very low compared to what I had it listed as. I had it listed for $529 and he offered $500. And so I just kind of listened to him. He kind of showed me what was out. He gave me a lot of information, actually, which unbeknownst to him, about other things that sold in that area, the average, the top, the bottom. He told me everything. So I had all this information, but I replied to him today, this morning, and I said, as I mentioned, my price was firm. So, he wanted me to counter to that offer, but I just told him my price is firm. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's a very interesting experience. First time, dealing with someone like that. So it's kind of fun. I'm actually having some fun doing this.
Maybe Handy Andy, the real estate agent in the future here. It's an interesting process, and people will always try to negotiate something. That's one thing that they do. It's also one way that real estate agents create some value for a lot of people. Like, well, I can help you out with that. I can help you out with that. To your point about MLS, you can list on MLS without being a realtor. In Canada, though, I believe you need a listing service to post it for you, a flat fee listing service. You can list on MLS elsewhere, other countries. The regulations are different, but yes, in Canada with a flat rate service, you can get on there that way, if that helps.
Yeah, no. And that's always an option, that I could use, but I wanted to try the low hanging fruit, the Kijijis, the Facebook Marketplace, and the Craigslist of the world, just to see if, people are looking at that. Okay. What was interesting about this realtor, Shane, is he was trying to turn me into a client. And I heard another realtor told me that this is an actual strategy they do, is they look for people that are doing private sales. They come at them with this lowball offer, and then they tell them, actually, I can get you more on if you put this up on the market. We can get you way more and, try to turn you into a client. I knew that as he was going in. So I was giving him very little information, but he was giving me a lot of information about the market conditions and the area that I'm selling. So I felt it was like a game of like chess, of him trying to convert me, but me trying to extract as much information, because he has tools and abilities to look at things that I don't. So I think it was still a valuable thing of worth my time to have a realtor to have that.
He also has tools that you don't get access to, and he can be selective inside those tools. From experience, I've learned that many times in situations like this, if hypothetically this person you're talking to is trying to get you a lowball offer so they can get you as a listing and all those things that you're suggesting, that they can go find comparables, and they're legitimate comparables. They might not be all of them. And you don't know that because you can't verify the information, right? I had this happen to me. I had a real estate agent come in and said, you can sell your house. This was 15 years ago. For $350,000, that's all you can get. Now, I had paid less than that. It was all good, but I knew the market was way higher. He's like, you're only going to get $350,000 for that. And he gave me all the comparables. He said, this is what's happening in the market right now. This is what people are doing. I chose a different realtor. That was $350 for that house. The realtor who sold that house before it even made the listing service, just by reaching out to their network of real estate agents, sold the house for $410,000.
Yeah.
He told me best case scenario, I would get $350. And so he was, as a realtor, he believed that he could get it, flip it quickly and just be done because the market was going down at the time. The information I saw between those two realtors on comparables was very different. And the second one sold it for substantially more money, not to be lost in that. Okay, well, you'll keep us updated on all that for sure. You cannot find that story at handyandymedia.com. That one's only here for us at Shiftheads. But there is one tech thing that I wanted to ask you about. I know that you've been talking about it, getting your phone stolen. And I always find it interesting because you, as an Android user, you're not an iPhone guy, although I've tried for years now to talk you into it. There's a new feature that came out that has people asking a lot of questions. The steal my iPhone. And so everyone kind of assumed that if someone stole your iPhone and they didn't know your passcode, they could never get into it. But that's clearly not the case, because now they've added stolen device protection built into your phone, which has, basically, my understanding, is a new layer of security that stops people from being able to even use their phone, because they used to call it Apple picking, where they would, pick your pocket and pick your Apple.
Yeah.
And then they'd resell it. So what happened there, and how are we getting fooled, and what's the new technology?
So the Wall Street Journal did this investigation because they were hearing from a lot of people that they were getting their iPhone stolen, and then that person was getting into their Apple ID account. And the only way they could actually get into the Apple ID account is by knowing their passcode. And so essentially what was happening was, and it usually happened in nightclubs and bars, Shane, in major cities like New York, Boston, Chicago, where somebody's there, maybe they're a little tipsy, having a couple of drinks, taking photos or Snapchat or what have you, TikTok, and all of a sudden their phone goes missing. And then they go and grab someone else's phone to use the Find My iPhone feature. So they log into their Apple ID, but they can't get into their Apple ID because that person got into their phone, had their phone, unlocked it with their passcode. So at some point in time, they saw whether that person was being, cavalier with their phone, and they saw the passcode that they were unlocking their phone with, but they got their passcode. They changed their password on their Apple ID. Now that person not only has lost their phone, they're locked out of their Apple ID. That means they can't access iCloud. They can't access the Find My iPhone feature. They can't even access their Apple Pay and all that. Even their passwords are saved inside that Apple ID account. So this criminal might now go into your bank account and start getting like virtual credit cards and such using your Apple Pay. So it was wreaking havoc on people's lives, because not only was their phone stolen, their digital life inside the Apple ecosystem was being hijacked. And after this came out with the Wall Street Journal, they said to Apple, like, what are you going to do about it? And Apple was like, this is a really rare thing for this to happen, but we'll do something about it. And they just enabled this new feature called stolen device protection. It's in the new iOS update 17.3. So you need that update to get this feature. But if you go into it, what it does essentially is, if you're not home or at work, a place where you normally are at, because your iPhone knows through the Wi-Fi connection, if you're at a different foreign location and you try to change your password, you're going to have to unlock with an additional layer of authentication, namely your fingerprint or your Face ID. And so somebody who steals your phone now, even if they know your passcode, they're not going to be able to change your Apple ID account. So you'll still be able to access Find My iPhone, and provided that you have battery life, you'll be able to pinpoint where your phone is. And this is just to help thwart that criminal crime spree that was happening, where people were getting their phone stolen and their digital life hijacked.
If your phone gets stolen at home and then they try to change your info at home, it's probably someone you just need new friends. So that's safe. I think that's a safe one. If it's at work, you probably need new coworkers. So I would say those ones are pretty safe. Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. It is kind of scary when you think about that, though. The access, of course, the information they get access to would be a lot, and that would be concerning. But getting locked out of it all, especially if you store in iCloud and everything else, that's why I don't put anything in iCloud. I only use iCloud to move things around sometimes, right? Move pictures from phone to computer, whatever, because I don't contacts. Like, imagine your entire contact list is not on your email account, but is in your iCloud. And now you've lost all of your contacts. That's crazy.
And unfortunately, most people, Shane, are not like you. They are just adding more and more of their information in this, what we call it, a walled garden. You know, you're in this Apple ecosystem. You get in with your passcode. It's like unlocking with like a smart lock essentially into this digital like walled garden of all your stuff in that ecosystem. And people who have had iPhones for like 5, 7, 8 years, that's a lot of your
A lot
data
of stuff.
in there.
You're
And
absolutely
it's great. It's great when everything works, but when you try to leave, this is why people who have iPhones never rarely leave that ecosystem because they're so tied in. Apple knows this, and they know they can also get you subscription fees through iCloud. And if you keep using iCloud and have everything stored on there, you just get more and more space, and they've locked you in, and you're going to be a customer quite possibly for life because of that.
Well, in afterlife, we've talked about this one before with photos. My kids, as a younger generations that's never had photo albums, like legitimate print them off photo albums, take them to the grocery store to get your photos printed, and then worry about what you took photos of just in case someone you know sees them. Um, that whole scenario, they've never experienced that. So they don't really clean their iPhones like you would clean your junk drawer at home. So all those photos are in their cloud. And then when they get a new phone, they just enable the cloud and it just boop, they have access to them on the phone, which is super convenient. But they also don't do the
Yes.
housekeeping, right? And so all of those photos will be gone if you were in that scenario. Not to mention for the rest of your life, your $4 a month or whatever it is, for the rest of your life. And then after you die, someone has to go into there and they have to do all the housekeeping for you. Just like, you know, you go to your, you know, your great uncle's place and he was a hoarder and you've got to somehow
Yep.
clean all of the, I don't know, you know, hockey memorabilia out of his garage that
Or
you
his attic. Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have no idea what it's worth. You have no idea what it is, right? And now you're the one who's stuck dealing with it, or just keep paying $4 a month, right?
That's
And
right.
so it is such this paperless society notion was sold on this. Everything's going to be easier, but you got to pay rent. And that's all you're doing. You're paying rent for the rest of your life. The only thing worse, of course, is never backing it up and having it on your phone, having your contacts on your phone only, and then you lose your phone or damage your phone, and now you've lost everything again. So, you know, I would say it's partway there to the solution, but it's a pretty scary endeavor, all of it, really, when you think about it. The idea of should I print my photos and just put them into an envelope and have them in a box somewhere? You're not protected against flood. You're not protected against fire. I have a server here in the house. You know, it's got duplicates, but at the same time, if I lose that server, I lose all of the photos of my kids. And I think
Yeah.
that's the scariest part for everybody is to lose that person's phone number that you can't get back easily. There's no yellow pages or white pages anymore. To lose those photos. And that terrifies people. And those are all things that we need to consider in this.
Yeah, I think that, you know, we are trying to like organize the physical possessions that we have. And we've done that, you know, all our lives, whether it's cleaning up our room or cleaning up our house. But we rarely, like you mentioned, do it with our digital lives. And this convenient, you mentioned it with the cloud access and just to have it upload into the cloud. Tremendous convenience. You know what is also convenient? Uber Eats, Uber, all these different things are convenience, but you got to pay. You got to pay for that convenience. And like you said, they lock you in because you now have everything there and you've had it for years and you don't clean it up. So you just keep adding on, paying. And this is why we run into that situation where people forget just how many subscriptions that they have because it's all automatic. It happens in the background. We don't see it. We get our credit card bills and we start paying it, but we fail to realize that you could save money doing something like you did, getting your own server with this. A lot of people, it's called a network attached storage, a NAS, where it's your own storage. You take that stuff from the cloud, move it over rather than just keep adding your cloud. But like you said, you have to have redundancy. You have to have backups. Maybe you take it as an external hard drive and put it in your safety deposit box at the bank. So if your house burns down, you still got those photos.
Yeah, and update it. I mean, I date mine every season, usually summer, winter. And then I back up the phone and it goes like the whole chunk of it just goes into summer 2024. And then if I need to find something, when did that happen? Well, it happened sometime between here and here. I have usually between two folders that I'll find the photo I'm looking for. That's incredibly
Love
helpful.
it.
Yeah. And some of
Yes,
the network
digital
attack-
file management. But this is great, Shane. I'd love to hear this.
We also don't know how to organize our own closets, generally speaking, right? Or our garage. I mean, we're terrible organizers as people. We could do a whole podcast series on just organizing your life, Andy. But to your point about the network attached storage, that some of the software bits inside that can connect to your Google Drive and can connect to your various ones. Probably not iCloud because Apple doesn't let anybody in. But it'll actually, if you just want to have Google Drive and you pay a little bit extra to just archive your photos there, that server will look at that once a day, once a week, and it'll find changes and it'll back it up. And so, and it'll keep a copy. So, I mean, there are all kinds of automated things you can do that makes it easier for you to get in there. Okay.
And
So
what a better way, what a better way to invest, right? Because you pay that rather than that monthly cloud storage, right?
Now,
Make that investment. That's a way better economical way of.
You have to understand that you will have to change out the hard drives at some point. They don't last forever.
That's right.
Solid state drives in today's world are much better than the old spinny drives of the past. So there are expensive costs to it, and it takes a little bit of work, but there's nothing that a YouTube video can't teach you, which is amazing. And their setup programs are awesome too. So that stuff's there as well. So it's stolen device protection is how we got here. It's integral. It's going to know your location, but it already does. So don't worry about that. And you have a video for us that we can share for anybody who wants to learn how to do it.
Yes, that's right. I made a video, a how-to video on how you can enable this. It's like only a short 1-minute video. It tells you where to go in the settings to enable it. And if people want to watch it, they can go to my website, handyandymedia.com, or you can go on Instagram, Handy Andy Media, all one word. You'll find that video. If you have an iPhone, please take that minute. It could probably save your digital life if you do so.
So go check that out, Handy Andy Media on the YouTube. Follow his channel, subscribe to it. That's integral for what Andy tries to do every day. So get into that one. Shiftheads.ca to connect with everybody here, including the Facebook group, handyandymedia.com to connect with Andy directly, ShaneHewitt.ca to connect with me. Please subscribe to this video as well, because I need that just as much as Andy does. And that is how you help us out the most. Subscribe to it, share it with your friends. And if you want to get into it, here comes the video from Andy. Thanks for being here, brother.
Hey, Shane.
Let's roll it.
Hey folks, it's Andy Baryer, Handy Andy from handyandymedia.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to enable Apple's new stolen device protection. This is a new security feature that protects your accounts and your personal information in case your iPhone ever gets stolen. The first thing you need to do is upgrade to iOS 17.3. Once you've done that, go down to Face ID and passcode and enter your passcode. And what you're going to notice now, if you have that new update, when you scroll to the bottom, you're going to see a new security feature, and that is Apple's stolen device protection. And just by pressing that button, you are protecting yourself from ever having your Apple digital life being hijacked from some criminal who steals your iPhone and tries to change your Apple ID password so that you get locked out of your own accounts. By doing that, it requires an additional method of authentication. That could be your fingerprint, that could be your face, but that is what you need to do to protect yourself if you are an iPhone user. Well, I hope you liked this video. Be sure to like, subscribe. We'll see you again next time.
The Shiftheads Podcast.